one time, check this shit out. When I first got to B104, B104 had always been beaten by a little AM radio station. I forget which one it was.
KRGB?
KRGB. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. Mark Fanage was on.
Well, no.
This was Scott Taylor.
This was a Tejano AM radio station. I think it was 1530.
Yeah, the 1530 KGBT.
Okay. So anyway, we somehow, shortly after I got there, it had nothing to do with me. I think it was Dusty Hayes, Billy, and all the other guys, Hurricane Shane, people that were on the air. We beat that little AM radio station, and you wouldn't believe it. Everybody was walking around the radio station going, woo, now
and
we
that
can
little
relax.
radio station belonged to Tichenor.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah.
So
KGBT.
everybody's going like, oh, man, we finally got number one. Now we can coast. Lon Basin heard that. He told Dusty Hayes, get everybody in the conference room. We all met in the conference room. He said, look, man, let me tell you. I hear you all walking around saying, now it's time to take it easy. He said, let me tell you this. When you're coasting backwards. Now you're number one. It's harder to stay number one than it is to get to be number one.
That's right.
Because everybody came after us. Q94.5, K-Light, with that guy Chucker or whatever the hell his name was.
Yeah.
The guy, gun guy, what was his name?
Oh, Gunner Nelson. Gunner.
Gunner.
Yeah.
Gunner was crazy, dude.
I got to tell you, this guy right here, Billy Santiago, would single-handedly put together all the beach bashes, and he won't take the credit for it, but because everybody pitched in except for me. I just went for the party because I was the news guy, and I wasn't even included in the meetings. But
you could show up at 6:20 and just read off the monitor and kick ass.
The soggy monitor.
I learned everything about putting on special events from watching Billy putting on Beach Bash. Who do we bring? We brought Richard Marks. We brought Roxette.
Oh, great times, man.
Oh, man.
Great times, dude.
Brenda K. Starr.
Brenda K. Starr. We had, oh, my goodness, the fun we had.
And the only drawback with doing Beach Bashes out at the Cameron County was you had to have your alcohol in the plastic bottles. You couldn't have cans on the beach.
Because some idiot
or glass containers on the beach.
Some idiot stepped on a bottle.
Yeah, that was a pain to do that. But those were great events we used to do.
Oh my good, they're still talked about.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, talk about when you get to number one, it's harder. That's the reason CHAZ and I haven't, really wanted to reach that level. You know what I mean? That's been keeping us from, hey, slow down, CHAZ.
Let's not get to the top.
I don't want it to get harder, bro. You know what I mean? So, that's why a lot of other YouTube shows, they've got it going on.
One of the things that I was jealous of these two guys, because when I finally got to radio, I could have a really good break. But it couldn't be consistent. Like one would be really good and funny, and the next one was all right. It was all right, and you guys kept it consistent. And man, that is much tougher than it sounds.
J.D. Gonzalez told me one time, "Don't try to be funny. Just try to relate. If it's funny, it's going to be funny."
Yeah.
But what happens is a lot of people feel that they have to be funny.
They force it. Because Billy, ladies and gentlemen, overlooks not only a top 40 radio station, but he overlooks a country station as well.
And to be honest with you, Rock, I'm not a country music person, but I've grown to like it over the years because my wife's a big country fan.
And because it was putting food on the table,
hey,
just like Gary said, you're gonna learn, you're gonna do it without music, and you're gonna like it.
But I took it from the research side. I was in the research, audience trends, how songs are doing.
I can't do that shit, bro. That research stuff.
But guys like Patches and JoJo and Sonny Laguna and Monty Lewis and Frankie D, those guys, they feel the music, man. So, you talk with them about stuff, when Patches was alive.
Yeah, rest in peace, Patches.
Patch, man. He was so passionate about music. And we'd have conversations about songs, and he would always get mad if a song didn't. He thought this song was going to be really good, and it didn't do well in the charts, and he'd be pissed off at the labels because they didn't try hard enough. But those guys, man, they live that passion with the country music.
We're fans of music. You got to be a fan of music.
And over the years, I've grown to be a big fan. Of course, I'm a big George Strait fan because my wife loves George Strait. But other artists, Toby Keith.
Why doesn't K-Tex mix more Texas country in with the regular Nashville stuff.
They play it on a Saturday night. It's a
I
specialty
know,
show on Saturday
but
night.
why? I mean,
Part of the radio,
there's
yeah.
some Kevin Fowler stuff, Randy Rogers stuff that you could play like during the week as well. But I've noticed that there's just Nashville in the all through. You know, Nashville pretty much controls, I guess, the programming of most country
Yeah,
stations.
it's all corporate bullshit.
Yeah, but you've got these Texas country bands that can hold their own to these artists, you know, and I always wondered about
but
that.
there's only a few of those artists
Yeah.
that you can play in a regular rotation. You know, but there's a lot of good Texas artists that appeals to, you know, because a lot of country formats, you know, they appeal to the older demos, and they have a hard time with the younger demos. But some of this Texas country music.
Parker McCullum, isn't he a Texas country guy?
Yeah.
He Conroe, Texas. He actually just performed at the awards on Sunday.
Cole
night.
Wetzel. Cole Wetzel's another great guy.
Cole
Granger
Wetzel.
Smith.
So there's these young Texas country artists.
Turnpike just sold out.
Turnpike
like, all the
Troubadours.
venues
Do
they're
they
doing.
play that during the week on
I
K-Tex? or
don't know. I haven't been there in 6 months.
yeah.
So I couldn't tell you.
No puedo.
When I was there, no.
Yeah, but
we
you
played,
got the
we played it mainly on Saturday night. But if there was a song that we could play during regular rotation, we would. You know, not a lot of it though. Not a lot of it.